The federal government has confirmed that coordinated security cooperation with international partners, including the United States, has resulted in precision airstrikes on terrorist targets in the northwest of Nigeria. The operations are part of ongoing efforts to tackle persistent terrorism and violent extremism across the country. All right, so of course the biggest news this story is what happened in the middle of the night. US airstrike in Sokoto State. This is following, and we know the timeline because we followed the story, starting off from that infamous tweet and then followed up by the speech by President Donald Trump to come with guns ablazing if the government doesn't fix the issue of Christian persecution, genocide in some quarters. But what's your take on this? This is said to be a fight against ISIS, precision strike yesterday in Sokoto State.
Okay, so we don't know a lot of details. As a military buff myself, I like to get brass tacks. But from that picture, number one fact is Trump said he was going to do it coming guns are blazing, and this is guns are blazing. I don't agree with him on many things, but he said he was going to do this, and he did it. Probably that's why he has a lot of following among Nigerians. I don't know the architecture of the strike. I can see a warship there. And AFRICOM released a message saying that they did carry out the strike. So maybe it was at one of the waters close to us, where America have their warship. That was where that went out. So when they say airstrike, was it a combination of the strikes from the warship and actually you have planes hovering in the air? I do not know. Or were there missiles in there? I mean, were there drones in there? I do not know the architecture of the strike. So what the only Defense Department in America has declassified for us is that picture of one of the missiles coming out. What kind of missiles used? Some have said Tomahawk. I do not know, so I do not have details on that. Sort of details not released. The Nigerian authority has also come out to say, yes, that they provided intelligence as regards that. It is not today, if you check historically, that Nigeria and America has always worked hand in hand as regards raids and attack on Islamists or terrorists, all right? Islamic terrorist groups.
Yeah.
If you remember, the one that happened when an American was kidnapped around Niger, that American actually was brought into Katsina, and it was from Katsina that they rescued. I mean, American Marine Forces, they even put boots on the ground. Nigeria also provided intelligence. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have said it provided intelligence. That strike has happened. We've not been able to weigh what has happened, maybe when we get to people in Sokoto, but they said there were missiles that dropped around villages around Sokoto. We'll be able to weigh that. What's the casualty level? Have we been able to do a reconnaissance to be able to ascertain, okay, how many bandits was killed, what hideout was destroyed? We have not gotten pictures on the reconnaissance. Maybe pictures will come out in the coming days. Thirdly, what are the reactions? Yes, a lot of Nigerians are saying, yeah, we're in support of this. We must read Islamists and terrorists and all of that, Islamic terrorist groups and all of that. But Sheikh Gumi has also put out a statement this morning saying that it is time for Nigeria to halt the cooperation with the Americans. And I'm asking, for what? Is this what we want? But he put a caveat at the start of his statement by saying, yes, terrorists should be killed, but it should not be done by terrorists. So I'm looking at it should not be done by unholy hands. So I'm wondering, because I had to go, I first saw it being reported on Daily Post, then I had to go to his page on Facebook to be able to see the full statement. Then I'm looking and I'm wondering, I'm like, this is not what we want, the end to the killings and bandits. And you see, I also heard the Al Jazeera reporter saying today that they're trying to distinguish and say, if there was an airstrike, why should it be in Sokoto? That it should be in Maiduguri, that there's a difference between ISWAP and bandits. No. With due respect, they all do the same thing. They all kill, they maim, they destroy. They are all terrorists, like the federal government has said. So if we can get to their hideout and kill them all, that's just it. What we want is in peace. Or they surrender. That's just it. So Trump saying that this is the beginning of many more strikes to come. Obviously, yes. I know in the coming days, the next thing will be the collateral damage. So those that are against the strike, that's going to be the line. They will push the line of collateral damage. And we've seen this play out too many times. Yes, collateral damage, if they can minimize it, that would be great. But we've seen this play out too many times against Hejrika when they started bombarding these terrorists, and we saw in fact, we have started seeing the first line from the likes of the Gumis of this world, they are going to be seeing some multiple lines. The second line they are going to push is national sovereignty. But anyway, the Nigerian government has said that they are doing it in partnership with the American government. But you see a lot of those hawks come and push the case of national sovereignty.
All right.
Then you see a lot of these hawks also come and push the propaganda that then they're going to push the what's it called, the regional propaganda. Oh, they are killing us. Why is it that it's around here that America is doing all of this and all of that? Okay. So you're going to see those reactions in the coming days. But most importantly, we want to end insecurity. We want an end to terrorism, right? So why are we complaining about the first step? Because this is decisive. I mean, for the very first time, we talked about the fact that America didn't give us weapons due to the Leahy laws. Anyway, they sold Super Tucanos to us once Trump came in the first time. We talked about the fact that we might not have capacity to be able to fight this. Talk about the fact that we can't do this alone, that we need expertise from America, isn't it? Didn't we all argue across board that we need expertise? In fact, we also argued about boots on the ground, because I'm just trying to chronicle the conversation we had leading up to this. That's okay, maybe America can put boots on the ground and everything. So why, when America probably used a Tomahawk that I know that we don't even have in our military arsenal or fleets, because if I check the price of a Tomahawk missile, it's going to cost a lot. I'm not sure in any way in Nigerian arsenal we have it like a Tomahawk missile that can go about close to 1,500 or 2,500 kilometers. We used a long precision strike missile. It got in there. We had an attack. In fact, luckily or unluckily, the villagers have not complained of anything as regards a casualty. In fact, you can see the villagers hovering around there. It's just for us to be able to get a recce. Then why after that, we are now hearing narrative by some people that, hey, why must it be America? Secondly, some people are even trying to tell us to our face without providing facts that, Nigeria didn't do anything with America. It's America alone that did it. Then you now start to hear narrative about religious dynamics. All of a sudden, we all remember that. We all agreed, leading up to this time, that America should help pursue. Then the likes of Sheikh Gumi now say, I don't mind terrorists being killed, but as long as it's on holy hands like America, I have a problem with it. But the same Sheikh Gumi that doesn't mind on holy hands like America supplying aids through USAID that they used to feed poor children in the same northern part of the country, he doesn't mind the aid though. The aid is not unholy. All of a sudden, to kill the banditry and the terrorists have become unholy. He said Nigeria Bush should go in there. Then the next narrative, all of a sudden they are now plotting, is the fact that, when you look at this, it is denting our sovereignty. The same thing that Nigeria admitted, that it's us and America that worked on this. So they choose to ignore that statement, and now they are now saying it's denting our sovereignty. Oji, see, the Nigeria that I know very well, in the coming weeks, it will continue. In fact, I think Shehu Sani has even come out to say this morning that Nigeria should know that going forward, that Nigeria still needs to solve its own problem internally, and say, we know all these things. All right. But the question we are asking is, why is this strike all of a sudden causing jiggy and everything? Oji, you will get more of this reaction. It just shows that to a large extent, what we say we want, when we now start to see the results, some people don't get happy about it. Right. And we need to be careful. All right. Misinformation will continue in the coming days. All right. So